Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Krutau Vande Bhagavanto Punah Punah. Ishvaro Gururatmedi Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namah. Shanti Mantra. Om Apyayantu Mamangani Vak Pranaschakshushrotramatho Balamindriyani cha sarvani Sarvam Brahma Upanishadam Maham Brahma Nirakuryam Mama Brahma Nirakarod Anirakaranamastva Nirakaranam me astu Tadatmani Nirateya Upanishatsu Dharmaha Te mai santu Te mai santu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Passage number 19. Asya somya mahato vrukshasya yo mule abhyahanyad jivan srave yo madhye abhyahanyad jivan srave yo agre abhyahanyat jivan srave sa esha jivena atmana anuprabhutah pepiyamanah modamanah tishtade. So question was that when a person dies, becomes lifeless, Devadatta nashtaha, we say that Devadatta is gone, meaning Devadatta is no more. So when the body is no more, we say Devadatta is no more. So then, when the body dies, does the Atma continue, or is there the Atma separate from body? This is question asked by Nachiketa of Lord Yamaraj Rama also. Yeyam prete vichikitsa manushe astityeke nayamastiti chaike. Prete manushe. When a person passes away, yem vichikitsa, this doubt remains. Astityeke. Some say that asti, there is a self other than body which is there even when the body is not there. Nayamastiti chaike. There are others who say that there is no Atma other than the body. There is no way to determine this perceptually. Whether there is something other than this gross body here. That is not the matter of perception or of inference. There is no way you can determine the existence of something other than the body. All that we perceive and experience is gross body. And it is alive and sentient, so you know that the person is alive. And when the body is dead, lifeless, there is no life, that means there is no Atma. So when the body dies, life also dies. Life dies, Atma also dies. This is the general conclusion. Not only of the common people who do not know any better, but even of some of the thinkers who equate body with the Atma. And so this position is raised by Shvetaketu and said, is there any evidence to establish that there is a self other than the body? So then the father carried out an experiment or demonstrated, showed. Asya somya mahato vrukshasya. Look at this big tree that is staying in front of us. Mule abhyahanyat. If someone strikes it at the root, jivan srave. It exudes sap and living. So shows it is alive because it exudes sap. Madhya abhyahanyat. If someone strikes at the middle, again it exudes a sap, jivan, it is alive. Agra abhyahanyat. Someone strikes at the top, again exudes the sap, it is alive. Meaning that the presence of sap is the evidence of the tree being alive. Now this is a common knowledge. Saisha jivena atmana anuprabhutah. Thus when the tree exudes the sap, then we know that. And then again, at the root, in the middle, at the top, which means that this life is pervading the entire tree. If there was only one stroke somewhere, then you may feel that that is where the life is. But here it exudes sap from the bottom, at the bottom, in the middle, at the top. That is anena jivena atma anuprabhutah. The jiva pervades the entire tree. And the tree is alive. How does the tree is alive? Not only exuding the sap, but then mopipiyamanaha modamanaha tishtati. This tree continues drinking the sap from the soil and modamanaha tishtati. You can see it is pleasant, is alive, happy. Modamanaha. So tree also looks very happy, drinking the sap from the earth. Tree is alive. What's the evidence? That it is exuding the sap and looks alive. Then the teacher continued further. Ekam shakham jivo jhati. So jiva, the life, pervades the entire tree. That is established by striking at different places. Then teacher says that there are times when we find that one branch dries up. The rest of the tree is alive, one branch dries up. Says Jiva ekam shakham jahati. When Jiva, the life, departs from one branch, atha sa shushyate, then that branch dries up. But the rest of the tree is alive. It is like limb being cut off. That doesn't mean life goes away, the tree continues to be alive. Atha dvitiyam ja. So if the Jiva departs from another branch, and that branch also dries up. But the rest of the tree is alive. If a third branch, Jiva, departs from a third branch, that branch dries up, but the tree is alive. But if the Jiva departs from the entire tree, then the whole tree dries up. Meaning that this tree is what is evident to us, is the gross body which we perceive. There is something else that keeps it alive. As long as that something else is there, so long the tree is alive, exuding the sap, drinking the sap from the earth, and alive and happy. And when that something departs from this tree, that otherwise tree looks the same. Meaning that, even when the tree dries up and dies, physically the tree is there. Body is there, but life is not there. So there was something else that kept the tree alive, and as long as it was there, so long the tree was alive. And the presence of life in the tree was established by the sap, exuding of the sap. And that something has departed. The tree, in spite of being there, is no more alive. The body is there, but it's not alive. That means that there is something else that keeps this body alive. Something that imparts life or sentiency to this body. Meaning that body is not alive on its own. Body is alive due to something else. If body was alive on its own, then body would be Atma. But Atma is consciousness, and that is what life is. But body is alive now, and that means that there is something which is responsible for imparting life or sentience to this body. And therefore, Jiva petam vava kila idam mriyate. Yeshvetaketu, this tree dies when it is devoid of Jiva, devoid of Jivatma. As long as Jivatma is there, the life force is there, so long the tree is alive. When that departs, tree is no more alive. Similarly, this body is alive because of something else. So, Atma means life. And if body was Atma, it would continue to live as long as it is there. But when the life departs, the body is very intact. If body was the Atma, then it should be alive as long as it is there. But after death, we find that body is intact and still not alive. That shows that there was something that was imparting life to that. That something called life or Jiva has departed. So, without the Jiva, the body dies. When the Jiva is there, the body is alive. And that's how Jiva does not die. The point is, na Jiva mriyate iti. There's something that dies, Jiva does not die. As Lord Krishna said in the Bhagavad Gita, Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya navani grunati naroparani tatha sharirani vihaya jirnani anyani sanyati navani dehi. Lord Krishna says that just as a person discards a worn out garment and takes up a new garment, so also the self discards this body, which is like a garment, when it becomes old, and takes up the new body, new garment. Thus there is someone other than the body who is Atma. And it is body that dies, that does not die. Atma is eternal. Here Shankaracharya also gives certain indications of continuity of life. That there was just the deep sleep state and the death and pralaya are sort of comparable, inasmuch as the personality becomes unmanifest during those periods. So there was a question whether in deep sleep state also is there Atma in there or not. So here says Acharya, Karyashe suptothitasya. When you are doing something, you are writing something, knitting something, something you are doing, and the work remains to be finished, go to sleep. Next morning, aparissamapti smritva, next morning this person remembers, hey, my knitting is remaining still, the sweater is not over, or the letter is not complete. Whatever karya or the task that I started was incomplete, that he remembers next morning. So that smriti shows that the person who is woken up next morning, the same person who was there before this previous night, who was doing that karya, knitting a sweater, writing a letter, or whatever, he remembers that this is incomplete, I'll complete that. That shows what? The continuity of Atma, even the sleep also. Similarly also, they point out that in the just born baby infant, you see that infant reaches out, when it is hungry, it reaches out for the milk, the breast of the mother to milk. Also when it is hungry, it is crying, it experiences pain. When it drinks milk, there is satisfaction or happiness. So this infant has no experiences of life. It doesn't know is it pleasure and pain, etc. are there when we experience. Without experience, how does it know where to reach out for milk? How does it know? So it shows these signs of happiness on the face, shows signs of unhappiness on the face, for which the just born infant has no experience. No experience in this life, and still it acts as though it knows. That shows that it is bringing the samskaras or the impressions or the habitual patterns from the past, so that just at the time of birth, when there is nothing for the child to know where to reach out, it somehow reaches out instinctively. And this is evident in other things also, like a little calf that is born of a cow, and then they also behave as though they know where to reach out for the milk, etc. So these signs in an infant shows that it has experienced similar things in the past. In the past, that when it was hungry, that it knew where to reach out, and those samskaras are there. That is why this little infant, without being trained, reaches out, because it has the memory of the past. Samskara, memory means the impressions. So impressions of happiness, unhappiness, all of these that a child indicates, shows that there is a past. Because in the present, you could not demonstrate any tendencies unless you have inherited them from the past. So there is also an indication that there was a past birth. Between the death from this body and the birth in next body, there may be time elapsed. Depends on what kind of description you take into account. As ChhandogyaUpanishad described earlier, it's a long process. This little jiva goes here and there and there and there and there, and clouds and rains. Sometimes it is said it is born right away. Sometimes it takes a long time to be born in an embodiment. But all the samskaras do not go away. The whole idea is that the samskaras, the vasanas which are there, their habit, it remains regardless of what is the length of time elapses from departure from one to the other. In pralaya, in fact, in the dissolution, it's billions of years. And still when we wake up from that in this new cycle of creation, we all act as though we all know what to do. All the karmas again fructify here, they sprout from the seed, and then, so all of these shows continuity. So these are there is no doubt you don't need actually this kind of an evidence, because scripture says, na jayate mriyate va kadachit. There is no Atma is not born, it does not die. Ajo nitya shashvatam is unborn, it is undying. So that is the proof, evidence. But then we also need some kind of reasoning. That's what our mind needs. Although we have enough faith or trust in the scripture, and still if what the scripture says can be verified in a way, not verified, but can be supported by reasoning, then our knowledge or conviction becomes firm. What is important is conviction. And that becomes firm when the supporting reasoning is provided, which is what this thing does. All these illustrations that are given here are not the proof of something. They are the supporting reasoning for what the scripture says. You are Tattvamasi is what Upanishad says. That Atma is eternal, as Upanishad says. And Upanishad is pramana, means of knowledge, which means that we don't have any other means to really see that fact, but our buddhi still wants to understand that the supporting reasoning is provided. And again, teacher repeats here, Esh anima aitadatmidam sarvam tat satyam sa atma tatvamasi shvedaketo. Tat sa eshaha. Say that atma which is eternal, which does not die when the body dies, that atma is sat. And that is the subtle essence of the entire universe. It is satyam, the truth. It is Atma, the self of the universe, and He Shvedakadu, that thou art. Shvedakadu says, Bhu eva ma bhagavan vijñāpayatu iti. May the Venerable Sir please explain to me again. With illustration. This is the specialty of this section, where it is not simple reasoning that is given, but illustration is given, which makes it very clear to us, which also includes the reasoning, and that forms the conviction of what we understood from the Upanishad. So next doubt arises. Katham punah idam atyanta sthulam prithivyadi nam rupa jagat. The next question is, there is karanam and karyam. What is karanam? Sat is the jagat karanam. Sadeva sumya idam agrasit ekameva advitiyam. All this nam rupatmakam jagat was a sat before its creation, meaning that sat is the upadana karanam, material cause, and the nam rupatmak jagat the effect. So relationship between this jagat of names and forms and sat is one of the cause and effect. Now, our general experience is that there is always a compatibility between the cause and effect, because the qualities of the cause always flow into the effect. For example, this pot of which the clay is the cause, the qualities of clay, they flow in the pot. then it is reasonable to accept that clay is the cause of this pot, not gold, because the qualities of gold are not found in this pot, or not some other matter. And thus we find that there is compatibility between the cause and effect. Therefore, we can infer the nature of the cause from the nature of the effect, meaning that from this pot we can infer clay, which is the cause, what qualities and attributes or nature the clay would have. So that is how by inference we arrive at the cause, because cause is compatible to the effect. But now when you look at the universe, it consists of very gross things like Prithvi. So Prithvi is a huge thing for those days. The largest thing that they knew was earth, So Prithvyadi, so Atyanta Sthulam Prithvyadi Jagat. The universe which is so gross, and such huge objects are there like earth. Because even sun also looked like that, although they knew sun was very vast. Moon also looks small. But there is a description which says that sun is thousands of yojanas in expansion, in vastness. So the universe consists of such vast and gross objects. And what is the cause of the universe? You say Sat is the cause of the universe. What is Sat? Anima. Extremely subtle, small. Not even small, subtle, invisible. Looks like there is no compatibility between the effect and cause. You follow? Effect is so gross, so vast, so evident. And the cause is so subtle, not evident at all. So how do you establish or how do you understand that Sat, which is so subtle, can be the material cause of this universe which is so gross? Because we do not find so compatibility between them. So that is what led to rest of the people to believe that the material cause of the universe is matter. So Sankhyas also infer. We find in this universe the play of three gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas. So Sankhyas infer that the cause of the universe is prakriti or pradhanam, which is the combination of sattva, rajas and tamas. The Vaisheshikas have their own way. We find there are 5 elements in the universe. So Sankhyas explain the universe as a play or a combination of 3 gunas, sattva, rajas, tamas. The Vaisheshikas explain the universe as the 5 elements. So what is the source of the universe? They say that the 5 atoms are the cause of the universe. In any case, these are all arrived at by inference. What is inference? That the cause must be compatible to the effect. And the effect has 3 gunas, cause must have 3 gunas. If the effect has 5 elements, cause also must have 5 elements. But Vedanta says something else. Vedanta says the cause is existence, consciousness, subtler than the subtlest. Not a tangible entity for the universe that is tangible. How can it be? So this Nam Rupa Jagat Atyanta Sukshmat Sadrupat Nam Rupa Rahitat. The universe is extremely gross. The cause subtle is extremely subtle. This possesses names and forms. Sat does not possess name and form. So how a cause which does not possess name and form give rise to effect which has all names and forms? Either Drishtantena Bhuyama Bhagavan Vijnapayatu. May the Venerable Sir please make me understand this apparent inconsistency between the cause and effect. So this is Sankhya view, the Vaisheshika view, who infer the cause of creation as the matter. Whether matter is called pradhanam or is called the 5 atoms, But this is how they infer the cause of the universe. For Vedanta, inference is not the pramana. Inference is not the means, Shruti is the means of knowledge. And then we apply inference to understand what the Shruti says. Those fellows arrive at by inference. So Sankhyas are liked by scientists because they are like them. But then, or even Vaisheshika, the atomists. So we had the atomists also. But here, pramanam is Upanishad. Sadeva Swami idamagrasid. Sat alone is the material cause. So how do you understand that? Now, because Upanishad, that's what it is. That's what it is. But still, mind wants to know how can it be? And therefore, here now the teacher says further, in the 20th passage, Nyagrodha phalam ataha ahara. So father says to the son, Nyagrodha phalam ataha ahara. See the translation. Fetch a fruit from this same banyan tree that was pointed out, by striking, how it exudes the sap, same big banyan tree. From that now, fetch a fruit. Banyan tree has fruits. Then the text says, Idam Bhagavaite. Here it is, sir. So when the teacher says, bring a fruit from the tree, it is done. What do you want? Fruit? Why? You will want to know, why do you want me to bring? It's there. Why do you want it here? But no. Swami said, yes sir, here it is. Then further. Bindhite. Says break it. Bhinnam Bhagavaite. It is broken, sir. Why do you want me to break it? No. Break it. So break it. So Shraddha, the thing is obedience, reverence, Shraddha, all of this is evident here. That there is no questioning, because he has a trust that what the teacher says is meaningful. And therefore it doesn't require any kind of, verification by my mind that why should it do and why. It is to be done. It must be purposeful, otherwise teacher would not ask me to do it. Then, Kimatra Pashyasi iti. What do you see? So that, you must have seen, I guess, the fruit of the banyan tree. I hope so. If you have not seen it, then this will not work. This experiment will not work. The banyan tree has this small fruits, all in fact fig tree, the fig tree category, It's like a fig. So then break it, broken sir. Alright. Then says, Kimatra Pashyasi, what do you see in there? Then he answers, Anvyaha iva imadhanaha bhagava iti. Bhagava, Venerable Sir, Anvyaha imadhana, the grains very atomic. So in that fig, which is the fruit of the banyan tree, if you split open, small, very small atomic kinds of seeds are seen in that. So I see dhanaha, these are grains. And so anvyaha, like atom. So like very atomic grains, more atomic, even smaller than grains, that's what I find here. Alright. Then the text says, Asam anga ekam bhinde iti. Anga means my dear again. Anga is an address, sambodhanam to Shvetageta. My dear son, Asam ekam bhinde iti. Take one of this little atomic grain and break it. Then says, Bhinna Bhagava iti. It is broken, Venerable Sir, that little atomic thing is also broken, split. Then, kimatra pashyasiti. What do you see in there? Na kinchana bhagavaiti. Nothing whatsoever, sir. This experiment. So huge tree, not an ordinary. So everybody knows that this banyan tree is one of the largest trees because it just expands, it spreads. And this banyan tree traditionally has this kind of fig-like fruits. And people tree, all the fig category trees have similar fruits. And the fruit has little seeds, atomic seeds. A tree as huge as banyan tree has seed which is as small as an atom. Now, we very well know that the effect is contained in the cause. Because when you sow the seed, then the sprout and ultimately the tree comes out, that is a matter of our personal experience. So we know that wherever tree is, the seed must be there, which means that the seed contains the tree. You follow? Tree cannot emerge from the seed unless the seed contains the tree. So that little atomic thing contains the entire banyan tree. Therefore, the teacher says, split that little atomic seed. What do you see? Nothing. Alright, so this demonstrates what? Tam havovacha yam vai somedam animanam nanibhalase. Hey Somya, good looking one, that you do not see anything in that little atomic thing. What do you see? In fact, you expect to see the tree in there. Is it not? Because this seed contains the tree. A seed of a banyan tree or any tree, for example, because the entire tree ultimately emerges from the seed, therefore the seed which is caused contains the effect. Like when we say that the lump of clay, which is the material cause of the parts, contains the parts in there. And so you would expect to see the tree in that little thing, but you don't see. But is the tree there or not? When you split open that atomic seed and don't see anything, would you say there is no tree in there? Tree has to be there, is it not so? Had it not been there, a tree would not come out. And banyan tree must be there. If some other tree was there, then some other tree would come out, but the fact that banyan tree comes out means the banyan tree must be there. But you still don't see. That means that there is no rule that you should necessarily see something which is there. Just because you do not see does not mean it is not there. Yam vai somyetam animanam nanibhalase. Hey Somya, good looking one, that you do not see that animanam, this very subtle thing that is there. Etasve Somya isha animna evam mahan nyagrodha tishtati. Understand, hey Shvetaketu, that this huge tree, tishtati, stands here in front of us, having emerged from this little atomic seed. In seed, you do not see the tree, but from that atomic seed, this whole huge tree has come out. Meaning that there is no compatibility between the cause and effect. The idea is the effect is huge tree. What is cause? An atomic seed. And secondly also, we know very well that the seed contains the tree, but when you open that seed, you do not see anything. That shows that the cause is not perceptible. It is there, but not perceptible. Similarly also, you look for the cause of the universe. You keep on splitting. What do scientists do? They keep on splitting, dividing, subdividing. What happens? Disappears. Energy disappears. And if you even proceed further by Vedantic method, so energy cannot be divided. What do you do with energy? So since you cannot operate anything upon it, you assume that it is the ultimate truth. Vedanta says no. As far as the reduction process is concerned, you go up to that energy. When more process remains, what is the process? Of Badha, negation. That you are so far negating things by reducing. You negated the lump by reducing it to the molecules, and you negate them by reducing the atom and so forth up to energy. Now how do you negate it further? So Vedanta teaches how to negate that. By simply withdrawing your attention from that and focusing upon the self, realize that there is self where even energy does not exist. So this is called Adhishthanam. Adhisthana Karanam. Adhisthana means substratum. Adhyara means the superimposition. So in the rope snake example, the snake is the adhyastha or superimposed. The rope is the adhishthanam, the substratum. So when you look at the rope, do you see any snake in there? Asarvabhutayam rajvam saraparopaha adhyaropaha. In the rope which has no trace of snake, understand? In the rope which is no trace of snake, you see a snake? Which means the snake has no existence whatever in the rope. So what is adhyaropa? Has no existence in all the 3 periods of time in the adhisthana substratum. So that is how, when you look at the self, you find there is no energy also. There is no universe, no names and forms, no energy. And this is how it is reduced by the process of negation, by discovering that it does not exist there. And truth is that which must exist everywhere, at all times, at all places. Meaning that if even energy or whatever you call it, the energy is like the prakriti of the Sankhya. If that was reality, it should exist. You find that when you look at the self, it has no existence at all, which means it is not there. But it is there, Swamiji. If it is there, it should be there all the time. But when you go to the adhisthana and substratum, it is not there. The snake appears to be there, but not there in the rope, which means that the snake is not there at all, even when it appears. Does it make sense? The snake is not, you know which snake again? Rope snake. Not any other snake. The rope snake does not exist. When you show a torchlight, when you see the rope, there is not even a trace of the snake. Is it not so? Meaning, the snake is totally non-existent in the rope. If snake was real, it would have continued to exist in the rope also because it's real. The fact that it does not exist in the rope means that it is not there, means that even when it is seen, it is not there. Just because you see something doesn't mean it is there. Only thing is that this universe is seen, so we think it is there. And then you keep on reducing and splitting and subdividing. But still come to some principle of energy which is there. So we think that this energy exists. Vedanta says no. As long as you look at the outside yourself, looks like it exists. But look at the self. There is no existence whatever. So self is substratum where this is no existence. So the superimposition. And therefore, had this world been real, had the atom been real, had the energy been real, it should exist everywhere. There is one place where it does not exist. Where? In the self, in the consciousness. That means that it doesn't exist anywhere. See, this is the thing. Does not exist in one place means doesn't exist anywhere. Exists, then it should exist everywhere. Doesn't exist one place. What do you mean does not exist anywhere? I see it. You think you see it. So, what do you see? I see the universe. Or what? Name and form. What is name and form? Asti, bhati, priya. Isn't it? So what do you see? Swami, I see a pot. No, I say you see clay. Our Swami used to say, they talk about, he used to carry a chain in the olden days. And then it used to be like that, yeah. And the Swamiji's chain was like this. So imagine a person coming from a village who has never seen the chain. He knows gold, never seen the chain. You ask him, what is it? He'll say, this is gold. You say this is chain, he says this is gold. Who is right and who is wrong? Is he wrong? He's not wrong. He's more right. Because gold is more permanent than chain. So thus you keep on looking for a permanent thing. It's a standpoint. That this is chain is a standpoint. This gold is another standpoint. This gold is one standpoint. This molecule is another standpoint. Molecule one standpoint. Atom another standpoint. Atom one standpoint. This subatomic particle another standpoint. That one standpoint. Energy another standpoint. Energy one standpoint. Consciousness is the ultimate standpoint. Ultimate. Not a standpoint, ultimate. Because it can't be reduced further. It's your own self. How can you not reduce it further? Because you cannot negate yourself. The process of negation has to stop somewhere to the negator. That's what we say to Buddha. They say this is all shunyam. How can we shunyam? You can negate. So because you can negate everything, nothing remains. Nothing remains, but the negator remains. So there cannot be shunyam, there cannot be non-existence. So this is how, even though you do not see the banyan tree in the seed, it is very much there. Because there, then you require some other. So that is why it will come next one. So the teacher here says a very important thing. Shraddhatsva somyati. It's not in your text, but it says, it's there? Oh, yeah, it is. So, I should have read this. I thought it's not there. Okay, passage 21. Okay, I thought I overlooked it or what is there. So let us read that. Tam hovacha yam vai somya etam animanam na nibhalayase etasya vai somya eshaha animnaha evam mahanyagrodasthishthate Shraddhatsva somya iti. See the translation to him, he said, O good looking one, this subtleness which you cannot perceive, of this very subtleness of the size of an atom, stands this huge banyan tree. This cause of this huge banyan tree, this subtleness which you cannot perceive, but it is there. Shraddhatsva somyati. Have faith. Now this is where our sometimes the imagination is stretched here, and this is some grey area. You do not see, but it is still there. Although I understand, but still sometimes questions remain in our mind. So Bhashyakara says, Shankaracharya, Yadyapi Nyaya Agamabhyam Nirdharatartha Eva Artha Tathaiva Ityava Gamyate. In fact, Upanishad says that Sat is Jagat Karana. And the demonstration also indicated that the Karanam is there even when you do not, it is subtle. So not seeing but subtle is the cause of this huge gross thing. Meaning that the banyan tree is a demonstration where there is no compatibility, apparent compatibility between the effect which is tree and the cause which is so small. Similarly also, so this is the case where there is no compatibility between effect and cause. So also Jagat is very gross, like earth and so many big objects. It can have a cause which is extremely subtle. So it's understandable from the example of the banyan tree in the seed. So Upanishad also says that Sat is the cause of universe. This Drishtanta also demonstrated that. So then what do you need? Why does the teacher Shraddha have Shraddha? Why do you need Shraddha? It's evident. See, Shraddha is required when something is not evident to you. That there is heaven. It's not evidence. Therefore, it requires Shraddha. But there is God. Now, always people believe that I believe in God. No, Swami says you don't have to believe in God, you have to understand God. But is there any proof that, so suppose somebody asks you, do you have any proof that there is God? Do you have any proof that there is God? That God is there a proof? No, isn't it? Is there? Ah. So, Vedantin will ask this question. Are you there? Is there a proof that you are there? How do you know you are there? I know, I am there. If you are there, then God is there. Why? Because you are God. If God was separate from you, then there is a question of Shraddha, understand that. So don't get intimidated by questions of the so-called intellectual people. Where is God? I don't know. What do you mean you don't believe in God? Do you believe in yourself? If God is separate someplace else, then there is a question of faith. But if what is God, if there is nothing other than God, then it is a matter of understanding. Oh, how can this be God? You sit down and understand us. Oh, you mean this is God? Yes. You mean my neighbor, my boss, my spouse? This is God? Yes. How? That we'll explain to you. Because I think that God must be certain that this person cannot be certain. Anybody else can be God. This cannot be. So this is my conclusion. But that what is, that you are God, the I, you are, this much is God. And then everything else is God also. Because nothing is separate from that. So we have proof of God. Nobody else has. You know why? Because they think God is elsewhere. If you think God is separate from self, it's a matter of Shraddha. If God is separate from me and separate from the universe and is someplace else, it's a matter of Shraddha. Trust in the words. I am telling you, yes, I accept it. So Vedanta does not say accept because I am telling you. It gives us reasoning also, which we can understand. So that a conviction, see, when I just believe, it is not my conviction. My conviction will come when I will go to heaven and see God or whatever, then conviction will come. Conviction comes when it becomes a matter of our own knowledge. So what we want is conviction. What is meant by knowledge is conviction. So even though the teacher demonstrated this, that there can be apparent incompatibility between the cause and effect, and still Sat, which is extremely subtle, can be the cause of the universe which is so gross, by demonstrating how that little atomic seed which is extremely subtle, is the cause of the big huge banyan tree. Then why does, so this is not a big deal, I understand that. So says, Yadyapi nyaya agamabhyam nirdhartartah tasaiva. So even though scripture says that Sat is cause, and demonstration reasoning also sort of verifies it. So tathapi, then why is the need of Shraddha? Says, atyanta sukshmeshu artheshu bahya vishayasakta manasa svabhapura asatyam gurutaram shraddham duragamatvam syad. Even though this is something understandable, but this is an extremely subtle matter to understand. When we talk of all these perceptual things evident to sense organs, then it is very evident no Shraddha is required because I experience it by sense organs. Here we are talking about something which is extremely subtle, not perceptible, but is understood in the intellect, understand? And therefore, what you require is a mind that is focused upon that, then alone you can have a conviction. Meaning that we require a mind which is focused upon the self, upon Sat, to understand and have a conviction that Sat is the cause of the universe. Meaning whatever we want to understand, that is where our mind should be focused. Is it not so? When they show you some stars at night, and through a telescope, etc., then that is where the mind should be focused. So see that. Look at Swami, look at beautiful moon. Yeah, where is it? I don't see it. It's on this side. See, moon is there, I should look there, not somewhere else. Meaning that my mind should be focused upon that which I want to know. What you want to know in this case is subtle, not only that, by your own self. So if my mind is wandering out there, if it is distracted with that distracted or extrovert mind, there is no way that a conviction can arise in me. So in this particular instance, teacher is Shraddhatsva. So says Bhashyakara that Bhakya Vishayasakta Manasa, if the mind is engaged in some material things and thus it is distracted from the self. Why? Swabhava pravrittasya. If you leave the mind as it is, then it will wander. It is nature of mind to wander into the things, and so if you allow that mind and it is wandering, then even though the teacher is telling you, he is showing you his evidence with reasoning. But right now I am thinking of whether today is Bhandara, what are they going to make in Bhandara? No, today is the last day, and when is Swami going to finish? Then I can go to Swargashram, that is where to buy the sweets. No, Gita Press, Gorakhpur. If this is what is going on in the mind, it's called Svabhava Pravruttaha. It is the nature of mind to dwell upon things that for which there is attachment, or dwell upon things for which there is aversion. Mind, if you don't do anything with the mind, by itself it will dwell upon things that it is attachment or aversion for. So you need to focus the mind, make it inward. So that is why Shraddhatsva. Hey, you listen carefully. Think about it carefully. But husband is careful, so from now and then, after 10, 15, when he sees one, careful. Because this kind of thing, in 5, 10 minutes, people, your mind gets careful. Look here. Verse 1 says, look here, listen. Shrunu, here also. So, we require a mind that is focused mind. That is where Shraddha. You are listening with Shraddha. Shraddha enables our mind to be focused on what you are listening to. Because the Shraddha in the teacher, Shraddha in the words of the teacher, in the scriptures, that Shraddha being there, that makes the mind free from its distractions and enables it to focus. So Shraddhatsva Somya. Gurutarayam Shraddhayam Asatyam Durgamatvam Syat. Unless not only ordinary Shraddha, so great Sattvic Shraddha is there, then only it would be easy, it would be possible to grasp this extremely subtle truth. Shraddhayam tu satyam manasa samadhanam bhut siddharte bhavet. If Shraddha is there, then mind can understand, can see, can develop the conviction. Therefore says, who says, my mind is always focused? No, nyatra mana bhuvam. People say, this man is sitting on the roadside. He is an ironsmith and working on his arrow. And so engrossed in that somebody asked him, hey, did you see the whole entourage of a king passing by on this road? Anyatra mana bhuvam nadarsham. Hey, I was absent-minded, I did not see. You did not see, but did you hear all kinds of stuff? There were drums and some. Anyat. So my mind, I was absent-minded, I did not hear. Meaning that the mind, this can happen to the mind, that it cannot see and what it cannot hear what is there. So we need a mind which is focused to appreciate what is there. So Shraddhatsva, therefore that's how Shraddha is a very important element in the learning, in the spiritual thing, learning of the self. You don't need any Shraddha as far as science is concerned. Nobody, when you go to college, don't have Shraddha in me. You don't need it. Don't have Ragadvesha. You don't need that. So this kind of prepare is not required for objective things because there is no agenda. You don't have Ragadvesha anyway for this piece of thing, When a scientist is analyzing this, there is no agenda, there is no Ragadvesha, he is objective. When it comes to a self, we are not objective. So that is why all this is required. Shraddha is required because we are not objective. Already lots of conclusions are there, lot of complexes are there about the self. How can you say I am like that? I know who I am. So Shraddha. That what that says comes from a different source. What you say comes from a different source. What you say comes from ignorance. What he says comes from knowledge. So if that conviction is there about the validity of the source of where this knowledge comes, then we have Shraddha. So Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. Lord Krishna says that one who has abundant Shraddha gains a knowledge. So Shraddhatsva, this is one important instruction given here. We'll continue. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. Ishvaro Gururatmeri Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.